Hi, my name is Pranav Deshpande and I will be giving an introduction to arrays in Java. So the first basic question that is what would be an array? So basically in programming, one of the frequently arising problems is to handle similar type of data. For example, we have to analyze weights of 100 students. So weight of each student is a number. Sure, we can go on to create 100 different variables individually for each student, but this process is rather tedious and impracticable. These types of problems can be handled in using arrays. An array is basically a sequence of data items which is of the same type. So basically it's a data structure and it relies on sequential storage. So what is exactly sequential storage? So in sequential storage, as you can see, the next element, let's say for here 2, is added besides the last element, which was 1. However, in random storage, it's not the same. As we can see that 2 is assigned somewhere else. Like it might not be just besides 1, it might be somewhere else. Let us visualize an array for now. Assume we have weights of 5 students as 78, 45, 12, 89 and 56. We have stored them here in blocks, as we can see. So all of these 5 blocks in together form a particular array. Now each block has its own reference number or a reference address along with an index or a position. Think of it as a list of mailing addresses. If you know an address, you can directly edit the value at that particular block or basically that element at that particular address. So we come to how do you initialize an array. There are these ways to initialize an array. Here type declares the element type of the array. The element type determines the data type of each element that comprises the array. Like arrays of int type, we can also create arrays of other primitive data types, just character, float, double, etc., or any user defined data type. Thus, the element type for the array determines the type of data that the array will hold. We also have a name for array. In this case, it is var underscore name. As an example, we have created an array, int array of integer type. So we know how to initialize an array, but what does exactly happen? So we had that line int array and square brackets. So what exactly happens when we write this line? No array actually exists. It simply tells the compiler, to be more specific, that this variable, which is int array, will hold an array of integer type. To link int array with an actual physical array of integers, you must allocate 1 using the new, which is there in Java, and assign it to int array. When an array is declared, only a reference is created. To actually create or give memory, you need to create an array like this, var name equal to new, the type and its size. So size specifically refers to the number of elements. You must specify the type and the number of elements to allocate. An example of this is shown over here, like int array equal to new int 20, where we are creating 20 integer values and storing them in an array named as int array. So the elements in an array allocated by new, where we use this new, will automatically be initialized to 0 for numeric types, false for boolean types, or null for string or other types. In a situation where the size of the array and variables of the array are already known, array literals can be used. The variables in the array are ordered and each have an index beginning from 0. So basically, as we see on the last line, int array equal to new int, an array is initialized and the elements are added. So the index of 1 is 0, index of 2 is basically 1, so on and so forth.